1996. Some off-seasons are all about wild trades and insane drama. Then there are those that quietly build the foundation of a dynasty. The summer of 1996 managed to do both. It all kicked off with a bombshell. Shaq shocked everyone by leaving Orlando in free agency. At just 24 years old, he signed with the Lakers for a whopping $120 million, instantly turning them into a serious contender in the Western Conference. That move alone would have made it one of the most historic offseasons ever. But the Lakers weren't done. That very same summer, they pulled off one of the most lopsided draft day trades in history, sending Vlade Divac to Charlotte to get a high school kid named Kobe Bryant. It took a few years, but by 2000, Shaq and Kobe had become the most unstoppable duo the league had ever seen. They went on to win 3 straight championships and launched the legendary Lakers dynasty of the early 2000s. 2023. It started with the league announcing a brand new CBA introducing the now infamous second apron. Overnight, the way teams could build rosters changed and Phoenix didn't hesitate. Just days after losing in the playoffs, they landed Bradley Beal. Meanwhile, Dame's long-awaited trade saga had a stranglehold on the league. Kyrie re-signed in Dallas. Fred VanVleet shocked Toronto by joining Houston for $130 million. And the Warriors traded Jordan Poole for Chris Paul in one of the strangest deals of the decade. In just one summer, the NBA entered a new era. The second apron turned superstar stacking into a massive gamble, while Phoenix's all-in move proved some teams would still risk it all for a ring, no matter the cost. 2004. The tension between Shaq and Kobe had been simmering for years, but after losing to the Detroit Pistons in the finals, everything collapsed. Phil Jackson walked, and in a move that shocked the league, the Lakers traded the most dominant center of his generation to the Heat. In return, they got Lamar Odom, Karen Butler, and Brian Grant. Solid players, but nothing close to Shaq's impact. Miami turned into a contender overnight, eventually winning a championship in 2006 with Shaq and a young Dwayne Wade. Meanwhile, the Lakers spiraled, missing the playoffs entirely as Kobe feuded with management and nearly forced his own trade. What makes 2004 so chaotic isn't just the breakup itself, it's what it set into motion. It reshaped 2 franchises, broke up one of the most dominant duos in NBA history, and created years of ripple effects across the league. 1995. Before the mid-90s, NBA free agency was nothing like we know it today. Players rarely had leverage, big stars almost never switched teams, and the idea of off-season chaos barely existed. Then came 1995, a summer that shattered the old rules. That year marked the true beginning of modern free agency as the salary cap was expanding, player movement was heating up, and franchises were suddenly willing to take expensive swings. Big names like Clyde Drexler and Horace Grant reshaped rosters across the league, forcing contenders to retool on the fly. At the same time, the league was expanding, introducing new franchises like the Toronto Raptors and Vancouver Grizzlies. These moves disrupted the entire player market, pulling veterans and young talent away from established rosters. The chaos of '95 didn't deliver one shocking trade or single blockbuster, but it fundamentally rewired how the NBA offseason worked. Without it, many of the seismic summers that followed might not have been possible at all. 2016. The summer of 2016 started with hope, but ended up breaking the NBA. That year, a new TV deal pumped billions of dollars into the league, causing an unprecedented salary cap spike. Practically overnight, teams had money they'd never had before. The result? Some of the worst contracts in NBA history. Timofey Mozgov signed for $64 million with the Lakers. Luol Deng got $72 million. Players who were role guys at best suddenly became near-max players. It was absolute chaos. But that wasn't even the wildest part. On July 4th, KD shocked the world by leaving OKC to join the 73-win Golden State Warriors. It was the ultimate if you can't beat 'em, join 'em move, and it shifted the league's competitive balance for the next 3 years. The Warriors were untouchable, winning 2 titles and becoming one of the most hated dynasties in sports history. The 2016 offseason was a perfect storm of money, power, and desperation. Teams gambled big, the Warriors broke basketball, and the league has never truly been the same since. 2017. The 2017 offseason didn't have a single defining moment, but it had chaos everywhere you looked. It started with Chris Paul. For years, CP3 had been the face of the Clippers, but after another playoff collapse, he forced his way to Houston. The Rockets immediately became a title contender, pairing CP3 with James Harden, setting up one of the league's most lethal backcourts. Around the same time, Chicago finally pulled the trigger on a full rebuild, shipping Jimmy Butler to Minnesota in a blockbuster deal that reunited him with coach Tom Thibodeau. The move shocked Bulls fans and put the Timberwolves in win-now mode for the first time in over a decade. Then came Kyrie's bombshell. Just weeks after losing the 2017 finals, Kyrie demanded a trade out of Cleveland and landed in Boston. The Cavs had just been to 3 straight finals, and suddenly their future was thrown into question. On top of that, Paul George was traded to OKC, Carmelo Anthony joined soon after, and Gordon Hayward stunned Utah by leaving for the Celtics. In a matter of months, multiple All-Stars were on new teams, and every contender had to rethink its title odds. 1998. When Michael Jordan hit that final shot over Brian Russell in the 1998 finals, it felt like the perfect ending to a dynasty. But nobody expected what came next. It was a summer where the Bulls completely imploded, taking the entire league into chaos with them. Within weeks, everything was gone. Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, all gone. A team that had just won its 6th championship in 8 years was ripped apart overnight. The turmoil didn't stop with Chicago, though. The league was thrown into a historic lockout as players and owners fought over revenue sharing and contract rules. For months, the NBA was frozen. When play finally resumed, the NBA looked completely different. The Spurs captured their first title, the East was wide open without the Bulls, and the old era of physical 90s basketball was slowly dying. The 1998 offseason was a total collapse of the greatest team ever assembled, combined with a labor war that reshaped the league's future. 2022. Most blockbuster trades feel massive in the moment and fade over time. The 2022 Rudy Gobert deal did the exact opposite. In July of 2022, Minnesota shocked the league by sending a historic haul to Utah for Gobert. 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, and multiple rotation players. There wasn't a person on earth who could believe what had just happened. For a non-superstar center who continuously struggled in the playoffs, the T-Wolves paid what felt like an entire franchise's future. That one deal didn't just affect Minnesota, it inflated every superstar trade price overnight. When KD demanded a move a few weeks later, the Nets pointed directly at the Gobert trade and said, if that's what Rudy's worth, KD costs twice as much. Suddenly, star trades became nearly impossible to pull off without gutting a roster. At the same time, teams started rethinking Supermax contracts. Paying huge money to second-tier stars was crippling, and Gobert's massive deal served as a cautionary tale. The effects were immediate. Franchises grew hesitant to offer extensions, front offices got stingier with draft picks, and all-in trades slowed to a crawl. In hindsight, the 2022 offseason marked the beginning of the end for reckless superstar spending. It didn't feature a single free agent changing the league, but one shocking trade permanently altered how teams build contenders. Every NBA offseason is full of rumors, bold predictions, and endless chatter. We spend months talking about who might be traded and who's a lock for the title, but every now and then an offseason comes along that's more than just a guessing game, it's a turning point. The stories we touched on were major shifts that broke apart dynasties and built new ones.